October 26th. I have not been in the woods for 2 weeks now. Just responsibilities got in the way for a little while, but today is cold, rainy, very windy, right on cue. And it's about 10:30 in the morning, and I'm gonna venture out and use this wet and windy day as an opportunity to cover a lot of ground and do some scouting. I'm gonna bring along my compound bow in case some opportunity arises, but the goal here today is just to try to find some fresh sign, because I'm sure a lot of things have changed in the last 2 weeks.
Just kind of walked briskly across through a bunch of thick stuff here. She put her tail up, but she didn't run, she didn't blow. She didn't seem to really understand what I was. I don't know if she really figured me out. I was able to get the camera on, arrow knocked. And by then there was just too much brush between us, but she was only like 30 yards away. Well, at least I know there are deer here. I've walked probably 3 miles today without finding any good sign. A bunch of rubs and stuff, but it just doesn't look fresh and active. That's a lot of walking from bumping one deer. I put a pin on a map, just looking at the map, because there's an interesting terrain feature right here. You know, right where I put that pin is where that doe was. But it's really far in here. October 27th. It's almost 7:30 in the morning. It's 20 minutes after legal shooting light. I'm getting a late start this morning, but we're supposed to have high winds out of the northwest, and I'm hoping I can just sort of sneak in here to a spot on the ground and get set up quick. This isn't going my way. My entrance was a bunch of thick stuff. Lots of tracks, lots of beds through there. The strong winds that are supposed to be happening are not happening. So there's nothing to cover my sound, and I'm making a lot of noise coming up through here. It started to open up ahead, so I'm taking a break. My glasses are all fogging up. Set up close to here. Looks like there's a shelf just above me. I'm gonna try to get up there.
I had pinned this shelf on my map as the place I wanted to set up. Little did I know, a doe beat me to the spot. She was only 30 yards away during the interview, and 25 yards away when she blew.
Everything was right except my timing. That deer was exactly where I wanted to set up.
Looking for a spot to set up, I move about 20 yards to my east and run into another deer.
I just kicked a doe, so it's 2 deer now. I really think I'll just sit somewhere so thick around here, I'm gonna have like a 10-yard shot. She didn't blow at me, she just went up over this ravine in front of me. I'm wondering if I can sneak up on her. against me this morning. One, I've been a little bit under the weather lately, so I had trouble getting out of bed. And two, the wind was forecasted to be 14 miles per hour out of the northwest. And instead it ended up being a very calm morning. I was planning on the wind covering the sound of me walking through all this thick brush, but without wind, I couldn't move very, very quietly, and it sort of ruined the plan. But I got to see a couple deer at least. If the wind picks up a little bit, I'm going to try to move around this general area and see if I can find anything.
I eventually meander through the thicket a little bit more, but no other deer are sighted this morning.
It's the morning of October 28th. Got a little bit of a late start this morning. I was nearly to my destination when I realized I didn't have my glasses on. They're absolutely necessary for hunting and shooting. So I had to turn around, and now much later than I wanted to be. By the time I finish hiking in to where I'm going, it's about a mile. It'll probably be legal light by the time I get there. So I'll probably end up sitting on the ground. It's a cool morning, finally. This is the first cool morning I've gotten to hunt, except for opening day. There's no wind, so the thermals are going to make the play. I'm heading back out to that finger ridge that I got. I had deer snort at me in early season. I haven't been back there since, but I know there are deer out there. Set up on the ground. We've got a big maple behind me as back cover. Sort of at the top of a ridge overlooking
I discover some promising sign while scouting, but I don't encounter any other deer that morning. Well, it's redneck story time. This morning I went deer hunting. Saw a 4-point. Came up real close, 10 yards. Too small to shoot, but beautiful deer. Awesome experience. And then I went scouting and I found a really good spot. The only problem with the spot is it is a very long hike in. So I found a shortcut that requires you to cross a stream. So I thought I'd give that a try this evening. Now, I wasn't wearing waders, I was just wearing my muck boots. I was probably about 95% of the way across the stream. Found a slippery rock, fell on my butt, got completely drenched from the waist down. Luckily, my camera and my phone didn't get wet. My muck boots filled up with water. And now it's a 1.5 mile hike out in my socks on a mostly gravel trail, which is a little painful here and there. Surely going to be sore after this one. It's always an adventure in the woods. You know, I got quite the blooper reel for the day. This morning, I got a spontaneous nosebleed during my hunt. I'm looking around, looking through my pack. I don't have anything to clean it with, so I'm just pouring blood out of my nose all over the ground. You would have thought I shot something. It's always an adventure in the woods.
It's always an adventure in the woods.
I'm going to try to go back to that spot where I fell in the creek. Got to get back on the horse, I guess. Long story short, my old hip waders are tied to my backpack, and I'm going in. Hopefully I have better luck this time than last time. I'm gonna learn my lesson and not do this again. You can get 95% of the way across, but that's as far as you're gonna get, bud. It's just so deep right there. I can see the tree I want to hunt from here, but last chance here. If this gets deep up here, it's done. It's done. I'm calling it. It's done. All right, it's done. Now you know, even with hip waders, maybe I'll come in with chest waders next time. They're way too heavy for the hike in. I also learned that these hip waders leak, so they're not really a solution anyway. Well, I'm going up a sandbar right now. Golly, I might find a way across. There's a little deep spot right here. Let's see what I can do here. Ooh, I'm sinking. Right up to my limit on these hip waders. I'm across. Do I hunt? I have to get out of here before dark. I'm back on dry ground, but my waders are really soaked. My pants are wet. Let's assess the damage and decide. Oh, I'm drenched from the knee down. Water's just pouring out of the waders. Yeah, they're leaking bad. I don't want to get my hiking boots wet now, so I'm just going to leave them here too, I guess, and just hunt in my socks. Gotta love it. There are fresh scrapes, fresh rubs, a trail pounded with tracks, and fresh acorns on the shelf just above the stream. It's the most promising spot I've found all season. light rain is starting to turn into a real rain. So I'm almost to the point where I have to put the cameras away. There's only about an hour left of legal light. And I want to cross that stream while I can still see really well. I haven't seen any deer activity. Getting back across just now that I found a route, was really, really easy. The only problem is my waders leak really bad, so I still got wet, but if I had good waders, it would have worked flawlessly. Keep it in my back pocket. Maybe attempt it again at a later date with new waders. On my way back to the car, I post up in a little clearing for the last 15 minutes of legal light. I actually spotted doe in the distance, but it's too far away to get on film and way out of range. You can call it silly, you can call it deer fever. I call it fun. Even on an unsuccessful hunt, it's always an adventure in the woods.